níbẹ̀ yẹn ò nílé lóko. Ẹ sì kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Hello everyone, it's Aderunke again. I hope your day is going well. Today I'd like to talk about the semi-homographs that have the three letters A, B, and A consecutively. A, B, àti A. You have Akpa first, then you have Akpa secondly, and then you have Akpa third. Akpa, Akpa, Akpa. I will show you what they look like written, so don't worry. Akpa could be arm, it could be wing, doesn't always have to the world doesn't revolve around us. We have different looking arms. They don't have to be human arms, so even wings will be Akpa. Akpa adìẹ. Our own Akpa adìẹ. Is it he or she? Doesn't matter. Our pronouns are not gender specific or gender differentiating. Onje Akpa adìẹ, he or she is eating the arm of a chicken arm. So Akpa could be arm, it could be wing, it could be direction, the direction of something. Akpa bolowa, owa labegi. Where is he? In what direction is he? You know, owa labegi, he or she. Why do I keep saying he? It doesn't have to be he, so don't be confused. It could be he, it could be she. She, Akpa boni won joko si. She, and what direction is she? She's under the tree. So Akpa could be arm and it could be direction, and I talked about it in the previous video, the one before this one, so I'll link it somewhere here. And then Akpa is a sign. Akpa is a sign, it's a mark. A synonym of the word Akpa would be Ami, which could be mark as well. When I say Ami, I'm saying tone mark, so it could be mark as well. It could also be, in certain contexts, it could be Eri, but Eri is more proof. Yes, indeed. In certain contexts, the sign of something could also be proof, you know, that at least temporary or available proof that something happened, you know. Akpa owe one be by. Akpa be nothing mirror one be by. There's a trace, there's a mark, there's a visible sign that somebody took meat from here. From this part of the stew looks a little bit tampered with. Akpa is a one be odebe. Akpa is a, your footprints are there, so it could also be prints, trace, sign, mark. So that's that, and I'll give you example statements of each of them, so don't worry. The third one is Akpa, Akpa, Akpa. So that's what you call a wasteful person. I see a lot of people waste water. I think water is the most common one that I've seen. Water, or leave the fridge or freezer open for far too long. If something doesn't need to waste, I think it's part of just considering others. I suppose it comes with age, it comes with, I suppose, even the soul's growth. Maybe it doesn't come with age, maybe it doesn't come with age, but it does come with the soul's growth as well. You start to consider that the world doesn't revolve around you. You share the earth space with somebody. If you're wasting this much water, you might not see the effects, but the effects are there. If you are letting things just run or go to waste, you know, if you don't need them, and you think, why should I bother? I'm not poor. Why should I think it comes with the soul's growth to realize that everything that you do has a physical and or spiritual effect on the universe. So anyway, that's by the way. Akpa is what you call a wasteful person, or somebody who, I think wasteful does it. Wasteful, the word wasteful does it, to a decent degree. Akpa, it's a noun, a wasteful person. Or it could be a wasteful. I think person is person not distinctive language for humans alone, and then no animals involved. So living beings, let's say, akpa, a wasteful living being. So let's say it's your dog that is wasting their food or peeing their food. You could say, kai akpa, stop it. You are such a wasteful child, you're just such a wasteful doggy, just a wasteful cat, or such a wasteful rabbit. It doesn't have to be human. Whatever the case may be, just know that akpa, akpa, and akpa are three completely different words. The only thing that they share would be the base letters akpi and a, but they are different words.
The first is akpa, 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 and like I stated in the video before this one, that I'm going to link to this one, I said that it is the arm of something or someone. So it could be the human arm, it could be the arm of a bird, which you would then call the wing. In English, akpa, it could be the arm of a cloth, a sleeve. Akpa show, it could be the arm of anything really, the arm of a cup. Akpa ife, whatever has a wing or sleeve or handle or holder or arm, you say akpa, whatever that thing is, the arm of whatever that thing is. So an example would be akpa ife mitikan, akpa ife mitikan, akpa ife mitikan, akpa ife mitikan, akpa ife mitikan. Akpa is arm, ife is cup, mi is my, ti can be has or had, kan is break. So when you put that together, the arm of my cup has broken is what it would be when you translate it to English. You can't say the arm, break becomes broken because as a result of the language that I'm translating it to, different grammatical rules, completely different languages, it would be rather unfortunate to attempt to make sense of one with the other. You can learn one with the other, but it would be quite irresponsible to attempt to make sense of one with the other. This is what it looks like when it's transliterated. So break becomes broken and all of that. The arm of my cup has broken, and when you translate that, it would be my cup handle has broken, because in English you typically don't say the arm of my cup, you say my cup handle. So my cup handle has broken. Akpa ife mitikan. Next we have akpa. Akpa can be sign or mark, a scar, or think of whatever synonym that aligns. Akpa could be that. Akpa, akpa. And a synonym, an actual synonym of the word akpa would be the word ami, which is typically mark or even sign. Eri is another one, like I stated earlier, and that is proof. I intentionally chose this example statement because I know someone who says, I will beat you, and you will show your children's children the scar of that beating. That was why I chose this one. So an example statement with the word akpa would be mo fi akpa re han omomo mi. Mo fi akpa re han omomo mi. Mo fi akpa e han omomo mi. Mo fi akpa. If you like, you can say mo fi akpa re han omomo mi. And if you like, you can say mo fi akpa e han omomo mi. re and are interchangeable. I was saying something similar in the previous video as well, that re and are interchangeable. Re and re and I was trying to determine that re probably came first before but again, dialects have to be considered. It's quite possible that re and began to exist at almost the same time, but in different places. The Yoruba language has different dialects, so I'm not sure if this is more a dialectical thing than a word progression. But re and whenever you see them, just know that they are interchangeable. Mo is I, use is fi, fi is use. In many contexts, fi is use. Akpa, that's mark or scar. It's mark, it's a scar in this case, just because of the nature of what the statement entails. It might not necessarily be scar, that was why I included mark as well. It could be the sign, whatever. Let's say you went to war and you got shot, the scar, or what else, whatever. But akpa is mark or scar or sign, whatever. Akpa, re or is his or hers or its, his or ours or its. That's re. Yoruba pronouns are not gender differentiating, and they are not. The language isn't even living being to non-living thing differentiating as far as pronouns are concerned. So his or hers or its, or him or her or its, or whatever, it doesn't differentiate. Even our language in general is not necessarily gender differentiating, like the way that you have in many respects anyway, you have words that identify somebody that looks a certain way. Words are supposed to sort of identify. Our language identifies, it doesn't really differentiate. The English language tries to differentiate. Oh, that's a him or that's a her, and you're not really supposed to and anyone who doesn't fit into that mode, you can say they, because they're like the miscellaneous ones type thing. But it doesn't really exist in a language. Take even the word that we would usually call king. King in the English language is a masculine word. Oba, that we now in the present day use as the translation for king, doesn't really say that it has to be a king. So Oba is one who presides over. You can even say one who presides over sort of does it, but you can then give it an extension and say one who rules over. So nothing about that says that it has to be a man or a woman. Even the word Olori, nothing about that says that it has to be a man or a woman. So if you look at the set of people's language, you tend to see where their mind is at, and we've sort of inherited some of the toxicity that kind of language might introduce, into the general culture. But that's a discussion for another day. That if I try to talk about that, it would completely take over this video. So his or hers or its, re or e. Huh is show. Huh is show. Huh is show. Omomo is child of child. Omomo is child of child. Me is mine. Me is mine. Me is mine. Mo fi apá rẹ̀ hàn ọmọọmọ mi. Mo fi apá rẹ̀ hàn ọmọọmọ mi. I used its mark or scar to show my child of child, is what it would look like when you transliterate it. It's pretty rough. But again, you can't really judge a language by another, especially because English is such a colonial language. You can't really judge how much the Yoruba language makes sense per the English language, you would lose out on a lot of things. Mofi, I used the mark. I used the mark to show my child of child. It's a very interesting language, isn't it? Because if you really look at it in depth, even that sentence structure, the mark or scar is just the surface of what you're showing your child of child. So apart from the fact that you're saying that you showed the child of child the mark or scar, you are saying that was just something that you use to do something else. It has a greater effect on that child of child than which would be grandchild if you then translate. I'm focusing on the literal transliteration now, which has a greater effect on the child of child than just the scar that you showed them. The scar is just a tip of the story of the effect that it would have on them. So when you translate it to English, it becomes, I showed my grandchild the mark or scar, but you're literally just showing you're not talking about the effect. It's like our language is so deep that when you're saying something, you're saying 2-3 things at the same time too. I used the mark Oscar to show my child of you're showing them the mark or scar, but there's something else that will be happening within the child of child. So it's a deep language. Again, if I try to focus on that and the beauty of that sentence structure, and then I try to link it to history or spirituality, that is going to take over this lesson completely. But my hope is that you don't ever try to just take a Yoruba statement, translate it, actually transliterate it first and say, oh, this Yoruba language makes little sense just because it doesn't align with the European way of structuring sentences. And then the third is Akpa. Akpa. Akpa is a wasteful person. An example statement that includes Akpa would be Akpa ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń jólé. Akpa ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń jólé. Akpa ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń jólé. Akpa is a wasteful person. Ni is his or her. So whenever you see ni, you could translate it as is, you could translate it as are. It fits both contexts. Gbogbo is all. Gbogbo is all. Gbogbo is all. Everything included all. Àwọn, in certain contexts, it can be the, especially when it starts a sentence, it becomes the. It could also be those. It could also be those. To is not an original word. To is not an original word. To is a combination of two words. Whenever it appears in this context, because to can also be related to the word enough. So in terms of translation, so don't be confused. To in this case is serving as that, and it's not an original word. It's a combination of two words, ti and o. Ti is that, o is he or she or it. And that he or she or it is what it would really be when you break to into the two words that combine to form that one word. But in English language, that is not really how you would say it. You would just say that and move on. So that is why the he or she or it is silent in the transliteration here, and it would even be silent in the translation. But just know that the o in the to shows that you're talking about something. So it could be a he, it could be a she, it could be a it, it could be a person or a thing. Essentially, is what I'm driving at. That when you say that, again, the Yoruba language, pretty interesting. You can't judge it. You can't even afford to do that, to judge it by English standards. It shows that you're talking about something or someone. So you're not just saying that, the word that, you're also saying that whatever comes next is a further explanation of the person or thing that you're referring to, that you're talking about. And in this case, it would be the wasteful person or persons. So just keep that at the back of your mind, you know. Whenever you see in a statement, it shows that the sentence is in continuous form or present continuous form. Many times I find it difficult to differentiate between both, but the sentence is in present tense or like present continuous tense. Whenever you see stand alone like that. So if you say mojo, you could be saying I danced, but when you say monjo, there shows that it's something that is happening. So it could be I am dancing, and it could be I dance, like typical, not I danced, but I dance. So it could be you're doing something, or it's something that you do, essentially, is what I'm trying to say. And it typically makes whatever verb that comes out, and it would typically be a verb that will come after. In almost all cases, actually in all cases, I dare say, it would be a verb that will come after. And in this case, the word is jole, jole, jole. Jo is barn, ile is house, or even houses in general. So jole is not an original word. Jo and ile are the two words that combine. Now, if you want to write it separately, you can. Akpa ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń jó ilé. Akpa ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń jó ilé, as opposed to saying akpa ni gbogbo àwọn tó ń jólé. However, because I'm trying to show you sort of the general way of, I don't just want to teach the language. I want to be sure that when you speak it as naturally as, you know, even the Yoruba people in Nigeria. That's what I'm trying to do. I have a video in which I explain that Yoruba people like to combine words. When something is it's like saying she isn't the one, you know, as opposed to saying she's not the one. I think that's common in many languages, that people would start to either combine words or even shrink them just so that they can get through their sentences faster. It's a pretty natural thing. So jole is not an original word. It's a combination of two words. Jo is burn, and you would notice that it's a homonym as well, because jo is also dance. Jo is also dance. So it's whatever that comes after the word jo that gives you a hint as to whether it's serving as dance in that context, or it's serving as burn. So it could either be burn or dance. That's another interesting thing to keep in mind. Jo, burn. Ile is house or houses in general. So when you transliterate that, it would be wasteful persons are those that are burning houses. Wasteful persons are and it's not just a wasteful person, because you're saying awon. So that's the or those. That automatically changes the sentence structure when you're translating to English. It's not just wasteful person is all those, you know, one person can't be all those. So you know automatically that it then becomes wasteful persons. Those are just word for word transliteration. So don't be confused. You still have to consider the general words within the statement. Wasteful persons are all those that are burning houses. Wasteful persons are all those that are burning houses. And when you translate, it becomes all those who are burning houses are wasteful persons.
If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'll be more than happy to assist. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.